The topic of today's webinar is the marketing analytics. So when we talk about the marketing analytics, the basic idea is if I'm doing some activity that is related to marketing, what all things that SaaS can help me out with. So SaaS has got plenty of tools that are available, and it can help you in lot many activities of a typical marketing process, right? So if you talk about what all things I can do in SaaS, we can use SaaS to formulate the overall campaigning process. We can use SaaS to even shoot some campaigns, keep the track of various campaigns that are up and running. And we can also get to know about what are the effectiveness of various campaigns that we have. Now, definitely, if you would have attended the last session on the similar topic, I think it was a couple of months back, then I told you we have this as two-part session, one where we talk about what kind of tools and functionalities that we offer in order to run the various marketing campaigns. And then we also have some tools that can help me to go and analyze the data. So this is a repetition of the one that we have seen last time, and we will be talking about the analytical functioning a little later, right? So, okay, looks like it is done accidentally. Okay, no worries. So let's set up some basic process where we will say we will give you some time in between, and then you can ask your questions there, right? So when we talk about the marketing process, typically as a company, I would like to reach out to my customers or maybe my prospective customers. And the basic idea is if I want to talk about my product services that we are offering to the customers, then I want to reach out to them, right? So there are various ways through which I can reach out to them. I can do a mass marketing ad like in the TV or in the newspaper, which is one of the activity which you probably want to carry out as a part of the marketing initiative. And beside that, you may also want to send them a personalized messages. A personalized messages like you may want to send them over email or a phone calls or maybe probably via SMS. Now we also have a support for mobile application notifications. So if you want to have your own apps and then you want to send notifications, then those all kind of options are also supported. So basically, when I'm trying to run a campaign, the basic idea is to understand how exactly I'll be running a campaign. So this particular webinar will talk about how you can begin the process of identifying the right audiences, and then how you can reach out to the kind of target audience that you are looking at, and then how you can pass on the right message to them, right? So let's start with the day. Let's talk about what we have in the marketing analytics and more from the marketing automation process that we have here. So what exactly the marketing automation is all about? The marketing automation is a process where I'm actually dealing with the comprehensive solutions that can help me to plan, test my campaigns, and execute the various marketing campaigns that we probably wish to have. And then I can coordinate with the third-party vendor if needed, and then I can actually ensure the campaigns are delivered to the target audience, and I can interact with them in some way or the other. So what are the advantages in case if I feel like using this particular tool? Please understand it is a tool that is made for marketing. So you don't need a very great technical expertise here. All you need is just some marketing understanding, and then you are good to go ahead and start working with this. You have some built-in tools that can provide you the analytical capabilities so that you can look at your campaign data, how many people have responded, how many people have not responded, And then you can either fine tune your campaigns further, or you can probably analyze the effectiveness, and then you can take a call whether you wish to continue with the campaign or whether you want to discontinue the campaign. You also have an access to the whole enterprise-wide data. So if you wish to design your campaign based on the existing customers that we have or the prospective customers that you have, then you can even use that data and shoot campaigns around that. And of course, you can customize the whole interface as per your own requirements. So you can choose like what will be your target customer base, whether you would like to divide them according to the region or according to the country or according to the type of services that you're offering. For example, if you talk about telecom, then you would be knowing like the telecom licenses are provided based on the region, right? So you may want to target your customer based on the region. You may want to target based on their usage, like prepaid usage, postpaid usage, or probably maybe the data usage likewise. So you can you have a flexibility to customize your interfaces the way you want to do it. So what exactly is needed in case if I wish to, I hope my video as well as my the toolbar is not hiding the content. So I'm just assuming that. So in order to get into the marketing automation of SaaS, I just need to do some basic initial setup tasks. And once those setup tasks are done, then as a marketing person, I can easily use the Customer Intelligence Studio and talk about the various campaign initiative that my company wants to take it up. So some of the very basic initial things would be is you need to go and identify to whom you wish to target. For example, you need to identify your target customer base. So either you can interconnect with your customer data table directly, or you may want to subset that data, and then you may want to run certain campaigns around that. That is also possible. Now, because the tool is designed for those who are in the marketing domains, it is assumed that they may not be the technical expert, right? So in order to simplify their uh, target identification process, we can create something which is called as an information map. This information map helps me to query my data quite easily without the need of be aware of how you can build queries. So you can use a point and click kind of functionalities, drag drop kind of functionality, and you can get to know uh, whom we are targeting. And then we also need to define the boundary of my overall solution statement, or you can say the problem statement, whatever you want to call it. And the basic idea is this one will tell me like to which customers that I wish to target to. And I also wants to know like what kind of communication channel that I'll be using it. And it will also talk about how I'll be reaching out to them, and so on and so forth. So it basically defines a boundary for me, and accordingly I can work with. So this is something that we have a very basic flow which talks about how you can set up your infrastructure, or you can say set up your process to initiate the marketing process. So first thing first, you need to identify the data. So what subset of data from your enterprise data warehouse you would like to use it. Probably you may want to use your customer data. You may want to look at the data about their usage, the kind of services that they have taken from you, and so on and so forth. So you can uh, note down all the data requirement for your marketing process. Accordingly, you can build a small information map on this. And that information map will help me to define the relationship among the various data tables that we have. And then we can have something called as a business context. So the business context is going to basically talk about setting up the boundary, the overall, the context for your problem statement, like who are my target audience, what kind of campaigns that I wish to target to, and then what kind of communication channel that I'll be using it, and then whomsoever are being communicated, how will I get their list of the audiences? Because if I want to know about the effectiveness of my campaigning, then this list is very, very important, because I need to know how many people have been reached out to, and then how many of them have responded, how many of them have availed your offers, and so on and so forth. So the left-hand side portion that you see is basically the initial technical setup task that we have to perform. And once it is done, then marketing team can take it over, and then they can do all sorts of campaigning on the top of this. So how exactly, if I'm a marketing head, and if I want to know like what all set of components, what kind of architecture that we are going to follow here, then this particular slide can tell me about what kind of things are needed in order to initiate the marketing process using the SaaS as a tool and technologies. So just to start with, you need to have something called as a SaaS common data model. And this data model is basically about the data that you are going to use it within your campaigning process. And the customer data is like the people who are going to be targeted. The common data model basically keeps the track of various campaigns, like how many campaigns you have generated, who all are being targeted, and so on and so forth. Behind the scene, there will be some servers, some mid-tier applications, and then there could be some client applications. So for marketing team, we provide them, we provide them a web-based interface. Using this web-based interface, I can build campaigns, I can execute campaigns, and if needed, I can even generate some beautiful reports and dashboard based on the campaigning process using SaaS visual analytics also. So that is something which is possible. And of course, if you wish to analyze your data for more fine understanding about your marketing approach, then you can also make use of the enterprise guide. You can make use of the add-ins for MS Office. You can also use the uh, the AI-based products of SaaS, or maybe the machine learning-based products of SaaS, which can probably help you to understand the past performances of your campaign, fine-tune the campaign process, and then uh, do a fine-tuning of the customers that you want to reach out to. So the basic idea is, if I choose to decide like I want to use SaaS for my marketing process, I have lots of tools that can help me to optimize my process and reach out to the customers uh, to whom I'm planning to reach out to. So if I look at the interface that we have a browser-based interface called as SaaS Customer Intelligence Studio, where I can build two types of campaigns, or I can run two types of campaign. One is called as an outbound campaign. And these outbound campaigns are basically about I want to reach out to the customers, which means like if I want to reach out to the broad category of customers, like then I prefer to choose the outbound campaigning. I also have an option to perform some inbound campaigning, where the campaigning process could be very, very customized. It could be specific to each and every user's requirement, needs, and whatever understanding that I have about the customer. And then I also have an option to run through the optimization process of my campaigning. The basic idea of the optimization is I don't want to spend too much of money, because cost is always going to be an important factor in my marketing initiative, right? So I can even do the optimization, and I can keep a single place where I can store all the treatments or the offers that I wish to give it. Just give me a minute, please. So you have an interface, one common interface where you can go and easily work with. Just to give you a couple of more updates, we also have another interface which is completely cloud-based called as CI360. And that CI360 interface gives me the power to do the similar thing on my website itself. Like I can integrate the capabilities with the corporate website. I can get to know about what the customer is browsing through, what customer is interested in. I can reach out to the customer in case the customer, leave in between, doesn't place the order for the product or doesn't avail the services. I can reach out to them and I can understand like what went right, what went wrong. I can understand their browsing journey. I can also give them notifications on their mobile apps. I can also integrate with their emails and so on and so forth. So CI360 is another beautiful interface that we have, which is completely cloud-based. So if you do not want the cloud-based, if you want something which is within premises, then this is SaaS on SaaS 9 interface that we have. So why exactly or what exactly I get when I work with the CI suite of application? So what is the SaaS CI suite of application is going to give me? It is going to give me a set of solutions, or you can say a suite of solutions that can help me with almost all aspects, all activities of marketing. It gives me a very simple, easy to follow interface so that as a non-technical person also I can easily work with them and I can run through various campaigns. You are allowed to create your own campaigns, decide who all are going to be targeted around that, and then get those campaign executed. So you can create schedule for your campaigns and then you can easily work with them. If needed, you can easily have a look at the campaigns. You can look at who all are my target audiences, how many people are going to be contacted, how many people would be there in the holdout group. I can even compare some sort of the effectiveness by looking at how many people who have received the campaign availed the offer, how many people who are part of the holdout group still went ahead and avail the similar kind of product or services without an offer. So I can understand whether my campaigning process was a hit or whether it was a failure, so that probably I can learn from them and I can take care of this in future. So broadly, there are 4 sections that we have. So one, which helps me for outbound campaigning. Second, that helped me to optimize my campaigning process so that I can minimize my cost as well as I can minimize the number of contacts that I would like to do with my audiences. And then I also have an option to build some logic for the inbound campaigning so that whenever the customer connects with me, I can choose the best possible offer for them and I can communicate to them. And of course, there'll be one common place where you can store all the treatments so that you'll be in sync with what kind of offers, what kind of treatments that you are giving to your audiences, and you can keep a track of that. So the advantage of this interface is you have everything at one place. You don't have to run behind various people, and you don't have to really figure it out like what was the campaign, who was the manager, who was the owner, and how many people have been targeted, and so on and so forth. I don't have to do any such things. So in this interface, we have 5 sections. 2 of them are meant for marketing. One is designer. This is where you can design your own campaigns. And the second one is for reports. So you can get to know about how many campaigns are up and running at any given point of time, and how many people have been targeted, and what kind of various stages your campaigns are going through, and all those things. And then there are few tabs which are meant for your backend IT team, such as the campaign definitions. So here you can specify whether your campaign needs an approval or whether your campaign is supposed to be done through certain channels. So which are those channels, all those things. And then you have some tabs which are meant exclusively for the administration team. So let's talk about, if needed, as a marketing person, how I can create and execute the various campaigns. So in order to create and execute the campaigns, I need to have some some broad idea in my mind. For example, in India, the Independence Day is scheduled tomorrow, like, or you can say it is there tomorrow. Now, I just want to reach out to my people, and I want to say, like, since we are celebrating the Independence Day, here is the offer from my side. So once I have some idea, then probably I can build a story around it, and then I can design a campaign around it. So if, let's say, you want to give them some credit card, or you want to give them some free data, you want to give them some probably the extended validity of your mobile plan or subscription, then you can think about on those lines, and then you can start building the campaigns around it. So there has to be some logic behind to whom you want to reach out to. So the idea is, when people are availing the uh, telecom products like the SIM cards, right? So in India, you can have the SIM cards for all the people who are above the age of 18, and there is no upper limit. So if you are even 70, 80, 90, you can still have a new fresh SIM cards. Absolutely okay. There is nothing wrong in that. Similarly, for the credit cards also, basics. There are some basic requirements like um, you should be a Indian citizen, and you should have some identification number for the tax purpose. We call them as PAN numbers, and then based on that, you can ask for a credit card also. So here we have taken one such scenario where we wish to offer a credit card to our existing customers, and the basic idea is to retain them, right? So because over a period of time, I keep on analyzing the pattern of my uh, customer spending, whether people are really spending that much or not, which is going to make some profit for me. And if not, then probably I just want to offer them some more feature-rich credit cards so that they'll 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 be more interested in using the credit card. So my target audience is, I want to have the customers with the age group between 25 to 16, and their credit score has to be more than 0.6 and above, right? And the churn score has to be 0.7 or higher, which means, like, I want to target the customers who have the highly likelihood of leaving my services, products, and probably opt for the competitor's product or services. We want the desired communication channel to be a direct mail, which means, like, I want to send them a postal email, because it is being observed, like, postal email gives the feeling like, I'm connecting with the customer directly, and then that is more comfortable for a customer to read that. A desired output that we want is uh, a file which I can probably use it in wide variety of applications. Like I can use it in Excel, I can use it in enterprise guide, or I can use it in office analytics kind of applications as well. So once I have some rough idea like what I really want to do, I can start building a campaign. And then I also need to understand, like, to whom I don't want to reach out to. I don't want to reach out to somebody who is happy with my card and services. I am happy to not to reach out to them who have not given me the correct address, because if I reach out to them, 99%, or you can say 100% chances are there that the postal mail will come back to me, right? I also want to create a holder control group. The control group is basically helping me to check the effectiveness of my campaign, whether the people would have opted for this particular product without the offer or not. Then I may also want to give them some offers, because I want to, if I don't give them some interesting offers, probably they may not be very much interested, and they may discontinue my product or services also. So I probably want to give them some Amazon voucher, or I may want to give them some cashbacks for 6 months or a year time, just to make them more interested in using my credit card and do some meaningful spending on that. So in order to create the campaign the way we the way we think, we can visualize, and we can create a campaign diagram. The campaign diagram is a graphical representation of your campaign logic. So here we have different types of the campaign nodes, and these nodes helps me to build a proper logical flow of my campaign that I wish to run through. So if I want to identify my audience, I can take the help of select node, and this select node will help me to select the potential target audiences based on either one condition or multiple conditions. So for the sake of simplicity, we are showing you if I'm using the select node based on a single condition, then this is how it will appear. And then if I want to combine the multiple condition, I can combine them using and or nodes. For example, if I want to reach out to my existing credit card customers, I can say like select the customers who are having the credit card and they are in the age range of 25 to 16. Okay, so if people are in this particular group, they have the higher chances of switching from one service provider to other service provider. Once you cross a certain age threshold, it is being observed like people started believing in the services and the products, and then they don't discontinue. If you want to reach out to, let's say, the male customers or the female customers, or if the gender doesn't matter to you, then probably you don't need to have some more conditions there. So how do I define my selection criteria? In order to define my selection criteria, I can choose the column on which I wish to build a criteria. So I can say, let the gender be female. Now, again, so many of you probably may have some strong IT background also, and you must be knowing like whenever I'm doing filtration, I need to know the data values correctly. So what marketing automation or CI suite gives to me is it gives me the list of values automatically. So I don't have to really remember whether the gender is stored as F or M or whether it is stored as female or male. I can see the values and then I can choose. One very interesting part that I can see here is if I select any column, then I can also get to see the count. This count will help me to understand if I'm trying to do some campaigning based on this column, what will be the count or what will be the percentage of potential customers that I'll be reaching out to. We have the columns being defined as either categorical or interval based. So categorical columns are something like you can have gender, which has values like male or female. I may have another example of categorical column as a region, city, state, on the basis of which I probably wish to do some kind of filtration, right? And interval is something which is numeric, and based on the numerical values or range of values, I can select the kind of target audience that I really want. So if it is interval based, you will get a histogram here, and that histogram will tell me like if I use this as my selection criteria, what customer segment or what customer base I'll be reaching out to. So I can see like almost 80% of my customers fall in this particular selection criteria, and that is where I want to reach out to them. If I'm looking at some categorical column, which is a non-interval based, then I can get to see the list of values that I have, and I can choose from there. For example, I may want to choose an age group, which is probably adult or middle age group. The idea is these are the group of people who have more they are more interested in switching from one type of service provider to other service provider for their benefits, right? I can also choose to have an exclusion group. The exclusion group is basically like the people to whom I don't want to reach out to, right? For example, I don't want to reach out to those who have a bank account, but they are under the age of 18 because they are not the decision makers. So I probably don't want to reach out to them. I probably don't want to reach out to those who are above the age of 75 because they are already into some products or services. They are already happy with them. If they have not changed since long time, then there are high chances like they will not be changing it again, right? So there is no point in reaching out to them. And accordingly, I can build various selection conditions. Once the selection conditions are identified, I can combine them using the and or node. And it is something like you are combining several of your requirements into one common bigger requirement kind of things. So if you see this numbers, each and every number that you see here will tell me like how many customers you would be targeting to if if you apply the selection criteria. And if you look at this final number, which is uh, which is like which is like if the customer is satisfying all these four conditions, then how many customer would be targeted there. So we have some very simple interface, and as a marketing person also, I can run through the update count option, and that update count will give me an idea if I feel like executing this campaign, uh, then these many people, these many customers would be targeted. So that is something which is very, very useful for me. I remember I was conducting training for one of our customer, and who is in uh, you know the the what you call them, uh, entertainment service providers, right? And I asked them like, in case if I need to build a campaign, and if I want to reach out to IT, if I need to identify like how many people are going to be targeted, how many days or hours of efforts it takes. The response was like it takes anywhere around 7 days to 11 days of time, because I convey my requirement to them, then they build queries. Based on that queries, they run some testing logic, testing algorithms, and based on this testing logic, then they will let me know how many people are going to be targeted around that, and accordingly they will tell me, right? And then they will go through, validate, understand whether it is right, wrong, and then post that only they could go ahead and execute the campaign. So their idea was like it takes anywhere around 7 days to 11 days of time. But if you start using some tool like this, because most of the things are in point and click interface, so I can get to know this within a few minutes, if not few hours. So I can easily get to know when I'm about to run the campaign, how many people are going to be targeted, how many people are going to be identified based on the interval based data items, non-interval based data items, what all counts that I have for each and every node, and what is the final count that I'm getting it here. So it basically preserve all the details for you, so that if you want to understand um, what particular selection criteria has changed the number of target audience, you can get to know that. And you also have an option to refresh your frequency, which is like if you want to run the same campaign after let's say 6 months or a year, I want to know like how many people are going to be targeted now. You can even get to know that, right? If you want to change, or if you want to add some new communication channel, you can even do that, and you can work with them as well. So basic idea is, if I'm building a campaign, it's very important for me to know how many customers that I'll be reaching out to, because you'll be you'll be knowing the cost of reaching out to each and every contact, right? So if I have, let's say, 11,000 plus contacts to whom I'm reaching out to, I can get to know what could be the possible tentative cost that I'll be incurring here. So getting an approval from finance, getting an approval on the tentative expenses becomes a lot easier. You don't have to really worry about like my budget, uh, um, my actual expenses way are way above the budgeted figures. something like that. There are many campaigns that did not click just because their expenses are more than what is being budgeted for. So the everybody's efforts goes for a toss, and that can be saved here quite easily. So this is how a typical campaign flow will look like for me. And this is just about the selection, like how many people I'll be reaching out to, right? And the overall campaign will have the selection logic, the suppression logic, the communication channel, the export list, and so on and so forth. So everything will be um, uh, created in a single diagram, so that as a marketing manager, I can have the view of each and every aspect on the same screen, right? So if I'm selecting certain customers based on the selection criteria, here I can see like 56,000 customers will be targeted. So these are the existing customers that I have. How many people are in the age of 25 to 60? 81,000. How many people have highly likelihood of leaving my product and services? 40,000 plus. How many people have good credit score? 30,000. But if I combine all of those four conditions, I get somewhere around 5,500 odd customers, right? And this is what is my customer base to whom I want to reach out to. So I can easily inform my manager saying that, hey, we are planning to target some 5,000 odd customers. The cost would be, let's say, 10 cents per customer. So are we okay with this particular expense or not? If the cost is okay, then probably I can proceed further. If the cost is still pretty high, I can do some more suppression on this. So I can run some more logic. I can add some more constraints with the help of which I can easily reduce this number further. So it's not like I'll be taking some days to confirm like how many people are going to be targeted. I can get to know about these numbers with a click of a button. So once I finalize like this is the number of customers to whom I'll be reaching out to, I can add a cell. The cell will contain the list of all the IDs of the subjects, the customers, or whomsoever you want to reach out to. And it will tell me which all IDs you are trying to contact. The idea behind this is I don't want to have too much of details here, because if I keep on generating too much of details here, then I'm actually creating a multiple copies of certain data values, right? Which probably leads to inconsistency and some more challenges in data management. So the idea behind maintaining this ID is you can use this ID and then you can retrieve the other supporting information from your enterprise database quite easily. So once I add the cell is basically used to initiate the communication process. And then it also helped me to understand how many people are going to be targeted in my campaigning. If I feel that uh, um, in the past the campaign has executed wonderfully, the responses was pretty good, great, then I can probably choose to reuse the same target audience in the future as well. So we have an option to make the sale as reusable, and then you can use this particular target audience in some other campaigns as well, so that you don't have to build the whole selection criteria again. That saves a lot of time for me, because if I feel that people have shown a lot of interest in the last, probably the Independence Day period, then they will also have the high likelihood of showing the similar kind of interest in this year Independence Day period as well. So this is how my typical campaign with some suppression logic would work. So if I don't want to reach out to some of them, I can link the commonly identified exclusion criteria, and then I can build a small campaign around it, create a cell, and then I can use that cell for excluding the people to whom I don't want to reach out to, right? So I can get to know, like earlier there were 5,500 odd customers, but based on this list of standard exclusion, for example, those who have not given me the correct addresses, correct contact details, I may want to drop out to them. The people who are who are not interested in receiving any communication offers from me, I can drop them off. And effectively, I can see like there are 95,000 odd customers who were okay with receiving a campaign or offers, and around 5,000 were not okay in receiving any kind of communication, or they have not given the correct communication addresses for me, right? So if I consider how many people have been identified from this 5,000 to whom we should not be contacting, so you can get to see here roughly around 300 odd people have been further identified who should not be communicated at all, because they might have opted for do not disturb, they might have given me the wrong details, and so on and so forth. So now, post adding that separation, I can see my number has reduced by 300, and now I have roughly 5,200 odd customers to whom I wish to reach out to. Once I get an approval from the finance, from the marketing manager or the director, then I can say like, okay, let's talk about how you wish to communicate. Now in India, the Independence Day is tomorrow, so I don't have time probably to send a postal mail to them. Today is the last working day before the Independence Day tomorrow. So again, I don't expect the people to go and check the emails also. So what probably I would prefer to do is I would prefer to send the offer communication using either SMS or probably using the mobile app notification, right? So because it is being observed like people are very much interested in checking their mobile phones every now and then. So giving them or sending them an SMS or sending them a mobile notification would have been more convenient, so that people will have a high likelihood to go through that message and then they would choose that. So you can have a wide variety of communication channels. You can have a call center from where you can make a phone calls and communicate about the offer to your customers. You can send them postal mail, because there are a lot of people, especially the people who are about the age of 50 like me, they feel more happy when they receive a postal mail because it connects with them, right? The younger generation, they would be more interested in looking at the digital mode of delivery like email or mobile app notification. But the seasoned people, they are more interested in still seeing the postal mail. So a lot of options are possible. You can even pass on the communication using the ATM machines. You can pass on the messages using mobile notifications. So a lot of flexibilities are there. You can have over the website, company website, and so on and so forth. Now, you probably might have shortlisted, like I want to reach out to some 5,200 odd customers. Let's say the manager says like, let's not send the communication to the entire 5,000 odd people. Let's send them hour by hour. So I want to understand like, I'll divide my whole day into, let's say, some 5 slots. Each slot will have 3 hours time gap. So I want to start, let's say, from morning 6 o'clock. So 6 to 9, maybe I want to reach out to probably some 1,000 odd people, and I want to see how they react, right? Then post 9, I want to reach out to another 1,000 people. So 9 to 12, another 1,000 people from 12 to 3, another 1,000 people likewise. So by setting up some kind of threshold, I can specify like, if I don't have these many people, if I don't have these many customers, then I don't want to probably reach out to, or I want to divide it as per my requirement, right? So I can choose a threshold, like if there are less than probably 500 people, I don't want to shoot a campaign. Or if there are more than 1,000 people, then probably I want to schedule the campaign to deliver the communication part by part. So both the options are supported, and you can choose whatever you want. Control group is one of the very, very effective way of evaluating the effectiveness of a communication. And the control group is the group of people who do not receive the communication. The idea is there could be some product or services which probably I'm giving to my customers, and the customers are already happy with that. For example, nowadays the uh, the the people who are using the mobile phones, they are more happy uh, by getting somewhere around 2 GB per day data or 3 GB per day data. So if I'm running a campaign and if I say like, if you opt for some plan which is going to give you 2 GB to 3 GB of data per day, I'll be giving you 10% discount. Probably I'm doing a campaigning which may not make a great sense because most of the people are really interested in that kind of offers, right? So I probably would be more happy if I tell them like, you avail a product or an offer where you give me another some more rupee or some more dollars, and I tell them like, instead of giving you 2 GB or 3 GB per day, I'm going to give you 5 GBs. So in India, we have 15th of August, which is Independence Day. Then we have Friday tomorrow. Then we have Saturday and Sunday. So indirectly, we have a pretty long weekend. So I assume that if people opt for such things, they would like to have a lot of data, because next 4 days probably they might be traveling, so they need it for maps. They might be needing it for entertainment. So I feel that people would need more data during that time. So running a campaign with more data will make more sense rather than running a campaign which is giving them the same amount of data which they were anyway getting it. So I can choose what kind of control groups that I'll have so that I can get to know the effectiveness of my campaign. People have really shown the interest or not. And there is something called as holdout groups also. So the basic difference is when I'm looking at the control groups or holdout groups, the holdout groups are basically the more technical term that we are using, which is basically telling me like, these people are not going to receive the communication. So either you can sort your customer data, and then based on certain logic, like based on the recharge value, based on the card spend that they have, I can choose like, do not reach out to the people who have certain criteria, or you can choose a random selection for not sending the communication to the people. So either way, whatever is comfortable to you, you can look at, and then you can choose a uh, particular holdout groups, and then you can get to know whether people have really shown the interest in your offers or not. So once you have identified what kind of audiences are there, once you identified to whom you don't want to reach out to, the next thing is you need to go and assign the offers, because without the offer, your campaigning probably may not make a great sense, right? So you definitely want to give something which is beneficial to your target audience, so that the people will pay some attention, people will give you some money to avail those product or services, and that is where you need to spend something from your pocket. So what these offers are? Offers are something which is of some benefit to your target audience, and for every type of um, tangible or intangible benefit that you're offering to your customers, you need to record that as one of the offer, one of the treatment. So when we are talking about the offers or the benefits that we are going to give it to the customers, they are being referred as treatments in SaaS marketing analytics. And then based on that, you can even get to know which kind of offers makes great sense to the customer, and where the customers are more interested, where the customers are not interested, and so on and so forth. So the idea behind this thing is, if I'm giving something for free, or if I'm giving something along with something, then probably I need to take an approval from my finance team, because it's a cost, right? So I need to take an approval, and I want to be in sync. I don't want something like today I'm giving something as an offer or as a free thing, and then tomorrow finance come back to me and saying that, boss, you have spent too much. So I want to be um, in sync. I want to be on the common page, and I also want to provide an interface to the finance team, so that they can get to know what kind of offers that we are going to give to customers. So this is one place where I can store all of my treatments. The idea of treatment is something that you want to give to your customers. It could be something like some extension in the credit period. For example, uh, uh, let's say this is a Independence Day and that is being celebrated on 15th. So I probably want to give a 15% discount, or for the credit card outstanding, I want to give them a extension by 15 days, whatever it is, right? So that could be defined as an offer. And I need to record all these offers. If required, you can show it to your finance team also, get the go ahead from them, and then you can move on assigning the treatments. So where do I create a treatments? I can create a treatment in the same application. If you remember, uh, there are 4 areas that you can work upon in the customer intelligence suite, right? You can work on outbound campaign, you can work on inbound campaign, and you can also create treatments there, and you can do the optimization there. So treatments you can create inside the interface, or you can load directly from the table to the CI interface. Both options are available. So if I say like I want to give some backpack to the credit card customers who are the young audiences, because young audience love to have a backpack, and if something is being given to them for free, they love to flaunt it, right? So that is something that you probably want to think about. You want to give them some gift card to the people who are in the age of 30 to 49. Now, this is the age where the people love to uh, give as well as receive the free gifts. So a free gift card would be a more appealing option for them. And a senior citizen, probably, they would be more happy if they can receive an umbrella so that they can use it when it is a sunny day. They can use it when it is a rainy day. And they can also use umbrella for protecting themselves in case if it is needed. So of course, the serious thought probably could have been made by the team, and then they can choose what kind of offers that I want to give to my customers. So all you have to do is you have to record all those offers as a treatments. They are reusable. So if you feel that I can offer umbrella in every rainy season day, that is possible. So the treatments are reusable. They are available for all sorts of campaigning that you wish to do it. So whether you are doing it for credit card, whether you are doing it for telecom, it's something which is possible, provided your company is into those many business areas. The treatments could be duplicated. So if you want to reduce the benefit that you are offering, but you want to have almost a similar uh, description about your offers, you can duplicate it. And if needed, it can even be changed. So if the treatment gets changed, you can get a proper notification that the treatments are changed, whether you want to accept the change treatments or whether you want to go ahead with your old treatment. So those kind of options are also there before you schedule and execute your campaign. Can I make the change? Yes, you can make the change to your treatment as and when you feel like. For example, as I said, we probably want to run the campaign part by part. So I want to see what is the effect of this. If I feel that a lot many people are showing interest in the offer, but that is also resulting into a lot of loss for me, probably I want to change the benefit, right? Instead of giving 20% off, I probably want to change it to 15% off, or maybe from 15%, I probably want to make it 10% off. Absolutely okay. Because we understand the change is something which will keep on happening to your requirement, and then you have an option to change your treatment at any given point of time. And as a marketing person, I have an option with me to either accept the change treatment, or I can choose to continue with the old treatment that I may have. So here I would like to take a small break because we did discuss about the theoretical aspect. So I just want to take a quick break here, and then I want to take up some questions, queries, if there are any, so that we can take a break. And then once we'll come back, we will see how I can do the same thing practically So again, it will be in the demo based, right? So I'll show you how you can build your own campaign, how you can assign your offers, and then how you can schedule and execute the campaign as well. And finally, we will talk about how you can document the campaign, how you can work with the inbound campaigning, and so on and so forth. So just want to have a 10 minutes break, but before that, any questions, any queries, any doubts we have? If you have, please feel free to type it in the text chat. I'll be happy to answer that. So this is being arranged in a webinar mode, so you need to uh, just type your questions in the text chat. Anything that you want to ask? Any questions, queries? No, so far? Okay, so let's take 10 minutes break. It is approximately 10 a.m. India time. 10 minutes precise, and we'll be back in 10 minutes from now. 10:10, we will resume again. So please have a break, have some tea, coffee, and please be back in 10 minutes. Dave, can you pause the recording, please? So let me resume the recording. Great. And let me switch to my application. So this is how the interface looks like. It's a browser based, very, very user friendly. The machine has just started, so it will just take a couple of minutes before it shows everything. Yep. And you can see here, there are 5 tabs, out of which 2 are meant for the marketing team and 3 are made for the IT team, right? So if I need to start building a campaign, I can go to selection campaign, and I'm good to go ahead and start a new campaign. So I can click on create a new campaign. There is a common process, like whenever I'm in the process of building a campaign, I have certain basic requirement, like whether my campaign needs an approval or not, whether I need a campaign that does not require approval, whether I want to just create a logic for the campaigning, whatever it is. So here we have a very basic campaign that we wish to select. And I'm good to go ahead and work with my campaigns. So if you remember before the break, we just discussed about the basic process that we follow. And the basic process is you need to identify your data that you need to work with. You need to identify the kind of treatments, the kind of uh, uh, contactable audiences and non-contactable audiences that we have. And accordingly, you can go ahead and work with. So let's say I want to build one campaign. So I can give a name, my first campaign, let's say, or you can say Independence Day campaign. I can have a campaign code around it. I can even specify some of the basic properties, like I want to use the latest data, and accordingly the campaign would be processed. Otherwise, I can work on the pre-selected data also if it is needed. I can get to know the counts so that I can get to know what is the number that I'm looking at, and so on and so forth. And then I can start with the brief details about the campaign, like who's my campaign owner, who's my campaign manager, whether it is going to be for one type of channel, whether it is going to be for multi-channel campaign, and so on and so forth. So I can choose one of the gentlemen as probably a marketing campaign manager, and one of them could be a campaign owner. And then I can probably talk about whether it is going to be a recurring or non-recurring ones. I'm okay with probably a mail kind of campaigning. That is the kind of logic that we have opted for. I can also specify what is the development start date and a launch date. So because we are in the webinar mode, I'll keep both on the same date. So you can imagine, like, you can start building the campaign and then you can execute the campaign also on the same day. So that is something which is absolutely possible. You can have some budget numbers also. Now, these budget numbers are basically just to tell you like what kind of cost that you are okay with while sending in the offer, or while probably the overall budget that you have. So per offer, what you want to have, what is the total number of offers that you wish to have, and likewise. So let's say I want to give anywhere between one offer to three offers, and my budget is like maybe 10,000 to 25,000, right? So this helps me a lot when I'm doing an optimization. If I'm not going to do the optimization, this is not going to make a great sense to me as of now. This is just for information then. And here we can build a diagram. The diagrammatic view is nothing but what you really wish to select. So I can have the select node, and whatever number of nodes that I wish to have, I can have them, and then I can move on. Right? So selecting the target audience is also a lot easier. You don't have to be a technical expert to select that. You can double click on this node, and then you can say like on what basis that you wish to select. For example, I want to start selecting based on, let's say, the age. So I can get the customer demographics, and I can select the age. And then I can have age anywhere between 25 to 60. Right? So the moment I say 25 by 60, if I click on this histogram, I can get to know how many people are going to be targeted. So roughly around 80% of audiences that we have seen in the PPT, I can get to see the same number when I click on the update count button. And that can give me a beautiful idea. Like if this is my selection criteria, 82% of my customers would be reached out in this particular campaign. Likewise, I can have the other selection criteria also. For example, I want to have a gender as male or a female, whatever you feel like. And I don't know whether it is stored as FM, male, female. So this is where I have an option and I can see the values. So as a marketing person, it doesn't force me to remember the technical aspect, or it doesn't force me to remember the values, I can just select that and I'm good to go ahead. And then any other criteria like churn score, credit score that you probably wish to have can be selected. Now, from where I'm getting this, I'm getting all of this from the information maps. So one of the initial tasks that you have to do, you have to build the information map so you can work on this. So here I can say the credit score has to be more than 0.7. So the minimum value is going to be 0.7. Maximum I don't need. So that will become, sorry, the maximum has to be a star. The star means greater than 0.7, right? If I want to make some more conditions here, I can go and add here. And I can then select beside the credit score, the churn score also has to be more than 0.6. So you can add one or more conditions. That's based on your requirement. And you can get to know what is the number that you are getting at. So you can get to see that number. Now, if I want to update all of them, I can right click and I can get to know what is the count that I'm getting it here. Trust me, marketing process becomes a lot simpler when you get to know how many people you are going to target, right? So now I can see some 80,000 odd here, some 20,000 odd here, and some 11,000 odd here or 12,000. Now, if I want to combine them, I can combine them with the logical node and I can have, yes, you would be given an access to the recordings. So don't have to worry about it. And then you can update this count as well. So the idea is it gives me a lot of advantage, like when I'm working with such type of tool, and I can get to know my number of customers have reduced to somewhere around 2,200 odd, right? I can still have some more exclusion being added as we have seen in the PPT, right? We can also add some more exclusion so that this number can be further reduced. Now, once it is done, you need to go and add a cell here. The cell is basically to say like, okay, my selection is almost done. And this is the customer audience to whom I want to reach out to. Can I change this number? Yes, you can change this number anytime. That's not a problem. So this one will tell me that I'll be targeting to 2,147 customers. Now, if I save this, let's say, if I save this, then I can go and look at the other treatments also that are probably available with me. So you have an option to build your own treatments. You also have an option to go and do some more things. So I'll say my Independence Day campaign. I'm just going to save this. Now, if I see on the left-hand side, there is a button or there's an icon for treatments. If I go there, I can see the various treatments that are probably being approved by my company. Or if I feel like creating a new treatment, I can do this. So this way I can easily go ahead and create the treatments. I can add photograph, I can add marketing details around it, and so on and so forth. So the whole team can be in sync and they can find all the details at one common place. That is something which is very, very important. If you are also going to use it for the inbound campaign where the customer will reach out to you and you will talk about the offers, you can also set up some inbound contact rules. Like, I don't want to give the same offer to the customer again and again, because then the customer will be irritated, because my first priority should be to solve the customer problem and then give them an offer, right? So I don't want to give them too many offers when they reach out to me. So those kind of rules can also be set in case if it is needed. So I can create a new treatment and then I can save it in case if it is needed. Once the treatments are saved, you can see all those treatments will appear here. Let's look at one of the treatment. For example, I have something like $100 deposits when you open a saving account. So if you open a saving account, I'll give you $100 from my side. So here is the treatment code that we have. I can have a treatment activation date and expiration date so that I can ensure like this treatment will be working only for a particular time period, not forever. I can also have some custom details like what is the reason why I opted for all those things. I can put up all those things, and then I can take the feedback from my managers, finance team, whether it is okay or not. And I can have some attachment about the campaign treatment text or graphics that we have. So once the treatments are created, you can make use of them in your campaigning process. So coming back to the selection campaign. So you can see like my campaign was open last time. So I can see one number there. And if I open this, I can see this. And then I want to add treatments to this particular campaign because that is what I want to offer to my people. I can click here and then I can say, let me add the treatments. So I need to shortlist the treatment that I want to give it and then I can continue with. Right. So I want to give probably 2 offers, 0% APR credit card because I'm more interested in credit card retention. I want to give a $100 deposit if my credit card customer also open a bank account to them. I can select this. Now I have identified that these 2 treatments, I'm going to use it in future. This is what is my diagrammatic view. I can make it as complex as I wish to. And then I can say like, let's go and add some communication channel to this because ultimately I need to have a communication channel before I trigger my campaign. Right. So in this communication, I want to choose my mail, the postal mail as a channel. And within this, I can also specify what kind of offers that I wish to give it, right? So if you remember, we have discussed something about the common data model. So every time I'm reaching out to the customer, the entries about all those customers to whom I reached out to will be recorded. So there is a table called as contact history table. It will record all the details there, right? So I can see like when I select the sales, this is where the cell is, where I'm going to have all the 2,167 odd customers. And then if I want to do some holdout, I can specify what is the holdout group. So I can again have some default settings for it, which is like 5% is my holdout group. But if I want to have 10% for this particular offer, I can even choose that. So roughly around 20 to 210 odd customers will not be receiving the offer right now, and remaining will be receiving the offer. So I can go and update this. So I'll get to know how many people are now not going to be receiving the offers. So building a campaign is a lot simpler, a lot easier. Understanding like how many will receive the campaign, how many will not receive the campaign is also quite easier. And I can even answer somebody over the phone also. Just open up the campaign and you can answer all these queries. You don't have to really run the query all the time again and again, right? Of course, when I'm running a campaign, I'm expecting some sort of responses. For example, if I'm running some digital campaign, I want to know whether people have opened up my email or not, whether people have opened up my SMSs or not, notifications or not. So I can integrate with those service providers and then I can collect the response. If I'm doing it through call centers, then probably I want to have the responses as yes, no, shown interest, etc., etc. And if you do not wish to have a response, then you can say, I do not want to have a response. Okay, so I can uncheck this. The moment you will uncheck this, that icon will disappear, which means that I'm running a campaign because I'm sending a postal mail. I'm not expecting a response here, right? So that is where I did not opted for it. Now, can I check the effectiveness of this? Probably in the simple terms, it is a bit tricky because I need to figure it out that when I'm sending an offer, I need to give them some offer code. If they are availing the product and using the offer code, then I'll get to know that yes, it was positive. Otherwise, I need to conclude that it was negative. So it is going to be a little tricky because I'm not capturing the responses here. But if it was some digital channel, then probably I would have done that quite easily. Okay. Any questions so far? If anybody has got any question, queries, so you can use Q&A panel and then you can put it up. I can see the Q&A panel, and beside the recording part, I don't see anything else. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So let's talk about how can I schedule this? How can I execute this? So scheduling is a process which is typically taken care by the IT. And as a marketing manager, I can just say like, hey, I want to run this campaign on 14th of August. And I probably want to run it in the form of some intervals, right? So if I need to send a postal mail, if I need to send some notification, I can say like, please send in the bunch of 1,000 uh, campaigns at a time, right? So I'll be preparing a list of 2,000 odd customers that I have, and then I'll say like send 1,000 in the interval of probably 3 hours or 6 hours, whatever, and then I can move on. So when we are building the campaign, a campaign would probably require an approval. The reason is we don't want by accident like the campaign costs shoot up and then we will face some problems. So what we typically want is we want an approval process to be in place. So if you want an approval, then you need to send a campaign for an approval process. And if the campaign needs an approval, and if you do not have the approval for the campaign, your campaign will fail to execute. It will simply give me a message saying that you need to get the campaign approved. Okay, the campaign can execute only if you have provided all the details for all the mandatory columns fields, like who's the manager, what is the start date, end date, and all those things. Then it will be allowing you to execute. Otherwise, it will not. And then when you'll be executing the campaign, the export files would be generated. So you need to specify where these export file has to be created, and accordingly the export file will be generated, and then you can integrate that with your communication channel, whether it is a postal mail where you can send it to the concerned team, and then they can print all the address labels, and then they can probably paste it on the postal mail, and then they can do it. If it is digital, like email or a SMS, you can have a phone number where you can hand over the list to the call center. If it is email, then you can pass it on to the IT team so that they can send an email and so on and so forth. So you have few options when it comes to execution. You can either execute it immediately. So I design a campaign and I feel like it is absolutely perfect. Let's execute it. I just want to do it. And that's absolutely okay. I also have an option to schedule it. So scheduling is something like, hey, I don't want to run it today. I want to run it probably tonight or maybe tomorrow. I can have a proper schedule being well defined, and then I can execute it according to the schedule. So when we are executing a campaign, what exactly happens behind the scene? It goes and update all the contact history table, because if I want to analyze whether my campaign was effective or not, I really need to know how many people have received the campaign, how many people have acted on it, how many people have responded positively, how many people have not responded, all those things. And if people are not receiving the campaign, then why they are not receiving it, so that I can add a suppression in future as well. I can also create the output specified in the communication node, for example, CSV or Excel or some data sets, so that I can use that data for some further analysis. If required, I can send email notification to the campaign manager, to the campaign owner, saying that, hey, your campaign is already executed. Please check. And they can probably, one of the recipients, and then they can verify whether the communication has been sent as per the expectations or not. You can also publish the descriptive information about the campaign, because when you are designing a campaign, your campaign will be in the design state. When you are executing the campaign, your campaign is in the execution state, and you can track all these states using the visual analytics as an application also. You can also have a look at the history tab of the execution. I can get to know when the campaign was executed, what date, what time, and if it was supposed to be a recurring one, then I can even get to know at what date and what time the campaigns were executed. Now, once I'm executing the campaign, my next idea is to monitor the responses. And of course, while building the campaign, I should have that clarity whether I'm going to monitor it or whether I'm not going to monitor it. So if it is the postal mail, probably I don't want, right? But if it is through some digital channel like SMS, call center, email, I probably want to have some responses being captured. So how do I capture the responses? You could probably have a direct response. So that is something like a call center is calling the subject and trying to identify whether the customer is or the subject is interested in the offer or not. For example, I get several phone calls saying that we want to offer you a credit card. I listen to them because as a marketing instructor, I feel that if I'm talking about marketing and if I'm not going to listen to the marketing pitch, then I'm doing an injustice, right? So I listen to them very carefully. I then very politely tell them, sorry, I'm not interested in your credit card because I feel that whatever benefits that you're offering to me on the new credit card, I already have on my some of my existing credit card. So it doesn't make a great sense to me to have n number of credit cards with me. So I very politely tell them like, I'm not interested in your credit card, right? So the idea is I'm telling them that I'm not interested, but at the same time, I'm also telling them like, in case if the card improves on other offerings, then probably I might be interested in future, right? If the offer was made through some coupon code which could have given me some discount, then while availing the product or services, I might have used that coupon code and then I might have availed that discount. For example, last week when I was coming from the airport, my cab aggregator has given me a 10% discount, right? So the moment I saw that my cab person is okay to give me 10% discount, I immediately use that particular code and then book my cab, right? So the idea was the moment I use the coupon code, I can get to know that I availed that particular offer. So my campaign was hit. That is what I can get to know. Similarly, I probably might have got some coupon code for which I need to go to store and then I need to encash that. Those kind of options are also possible. There could be something called as inferred responses also, which is like I probably did not used any coupon code, or I did not communicated yes or no over the phone calls, but there was an offer like if I recharge my phone during the Independence Day or on the day of Independence, like 15th of August, I'll be getting uh, 1 GB daily extra for the whole month. So I'll pay that amount, and the moment I'll pay that amount, and if the date of recharge was 15th of August, I'll be getting that particular extra data, and a company get to know that the customer has responded positively to my offer. So that is something which is being inferred. It is not being communicated to me directly. So I can have an option of either direct response or inferred responses. Why do I need to have this response? The response basically tells me whether people liked my offers or not, whether people are really interested in whatever we are offering to them or not. So if people are not interested in my offers, product, services, then 99% they will not opt for it. Maybe a very high percentage will not opt for it. And then I'll get to know like probably my customers are not happy with whatever I'm offering to them. And which means that there are high chances that the customer may leave me, right? So probably I can go back to the drawing board again. I can again discuss what best that we can offer to the customer so that the customer will get engaged. Okay, because if the people are not availing the offers, it means either the offers are useless to the customer or the customer doesn't want to get engaged with us. So I can, based on the responses, I can do my own analysis and I can understand whether the people are really interested in my offerings or not. If yes, well and good. If not, I probably need to go back and change my strategies. How can I make use of these responses in the future campaigns? If I got the response, I can make use of these responses in my future campaigns also. For example, the people who have responded yes, there are highly likelihood that they may avail the similar kind of offers in future as well. So probably I want to reach out to them once again. Number one, it could be another one like I see that people who do not show the interest, I probably don't want to send an offer to them again. So I may choose not to pass on the communication to them. So either way, the responses are of great help to me because that can help me to decide whether to use them in a right way or not in the right way kind of things. So whenever I'm getting a responses, the basic idea is to understand what is the feedback given by the customer or the subject to me, right? And in order for a campaign responses to be generated and one can view them, you need to have certain criteria to be loaded, certain criteria to be satisfied. For example, the responses are typically captured by third parties, like a call center executive will be capturing the responses, or the transaction data is telling me that the coupon code was used, right? So I need to build some ETL behind the scene just to capture the response, and then I can make use of that. So for that purpose, again, you need to build some additional process, and using that, you can easily go ahead and look at the responses and then take a further call on the top of it. How will I get to know the offer was accepted or the offer was rejected? If there was no action, it means that my offer was simply rejected. Or if there was a direct inference, like the customer said no, I can get to know that, right? Otherwise, I can get to know how many people have accepted, how many people are rejected. Ideally, somewhere around 20-25% of acceptance is considered as a good number. However, higher is always better, right? So if you see 40%, 50% people accepting your offer, nothing like that. So that will be a wonderful thing. But 25% is considered as very, very useful for me. Now, when I'm building the campaign, I really need to keep the historical data. So I was talking to the same customer once again, and I was telling them like, what kind of documentation you get when you run your campaign. They said, we don't get anything. The IT team does not give me anything. And if I insist, then probably they can give me a query, but nothing beyond that. So it doesn't tell me like who all are contacted. It doesn't tell me like how many probably not being communicated and why they are not being communicated. So a lot of questions remain unanswered. But when it comes to documenting the campaign in CI, it becomes a lot easier. So what is the advantage of documenting our campaigns? It is acting as a ready reference for me at any given point of time. So the idea is when I'm running the campaign, if my manager says like, hey, I can't go through the application, can you send me the document that talks about what we are doing in the campaign? I can send the document straight away to them. But if my manager wants to know what was the campaign that we executed some 6 months back or a year back, so if I know that, I can probably go through the document and I can get to know what was the logic that was used, what was the count of customers we have targeted, and so on and so forth. And I can easily answer his queries. That is something which is absolutely possible. The document that gets created in the form of PDF, which means like I'm getting a non-editable version of whatever I have done. So what exactly the PDF contains? The PDF contains a brief summary that talks about what all things are there as a part of my campaign. I can get to know the diagram picture, like the selection criteria, the combining part, the filtration part, the splitting part, whatever I wish to do it. What is the sale sizing like at every subsequent cell node? How many number of customers we are targeting at? What is the execution history, when it was executed, how many people have been targeted, and etc. etc. And I can also get to see some audit logs. So your report could be as small as few pages, and it could be as large as some 20-30 pages also, based on the complexity of the campaign that you have. Once this document is being created, I can make use of this document to share the details about my campaign with the various stakeholders. For example, like I can send this document to the campaign owner, I can send it to the finance team, I can send this to the designer, I can send this to the campaign executioner, and so on and so forth. So all options are available to me. Let's try and see, in case if I need to go and document the campaign, if I need to go and schedule and execute the campaign, how can I do it? Before that, we will just quickly look at some more nodes that are available, and then we will talk about these two features. So let me go back to the lab again. So if I look at the nodes part, this is where I can define my selection criteria. This is where I can combine them using and or. I can even choose to split when I want to reach out to the people. If I want to have a multi-channel communication, for example, for some, I want to send a SMS. For some, I want to make a phone call. For some, I want to send a postal mail. I can do a split. The split could happen based on percentage. It could based on some sorting order. And I can easily decide like who should have a priority, who should not have a priority kind of. Cell node is where I'll be indicating that now my campaign is ready either to be executed or some part of the campaign I want to reuse it. So I can have a cell node there. I can also have a communication node, which means like now my campaign is almost ready and I'm ready to execute. I can even perform an A/B test. So if you have a um, multiple logic, if you have a competing offers, then you can choose A/B test. So you can have a champion challenger or challenger kind of setup where you can identify which offer makes more sense, and you can evaluate the effectiveness of various types of campaigns that we have. If you have created a list of exclusion, then you can link that exclusion data or supposed to be excluded data, so that you can suppress some more audiences. You can set a limit if you feel that executing a campaign through postal mail for 2,000 customers is going to be very, very expensive. Okay. So I assume like in India, each postal mail cost around 10 rupees, okay, which is approximately 10 cents of USD, approximately around 12 cents is what we are looking at. So giving a postal communication to 2000 odd people will make an expense of roughly around $200, right? Or maybe you can say $250. Now, if I feel that I don't want to really send so many postal mail, I can set a limit. I want to see the effect. What happens if I send a postal mail to only, let's say, 50% audience first? So I can do a limit also. Okay. So a split is one option where I can divide it into multiple channels, or I have a limit that I have a channels, but I don't want to send the communication to all the target audience. I want to limit that. That option is also there. I can create an export list of the subject who needs to be communicated. So I can even select that. I can do a prioritization. So if there are multiple uh, communications, I want to decide where I want to give priority, where I should not be giving priority. For example, as I said, when the people are young, in the age of somewhere around 25, they love to change the service provider. They love to change the credit card. They love to change the various plans because they want to explore, right? They are the exploratory people. They love to keep on exploring multiple things. So I probably want to send them through mobile app or through SMSs, whereas the people who are age of 40 and above, they typically love to listen to all those offer details, have their queries being answered, and then they probably want to take a call. So phone calls could have been more better for them. So you can choose how you really want to prioritize your communication and so on and so forth. You can have your own logic also that can help you to build some logic, and then you can choose how you want to reach out to them. You can even link to a report, which is going to have the documentation part, right? So I want to, when I want to document it, there is a small button that helps me to validate my campaign first. So before I generate the document, it's a good idea if I can validate this. So validation will help me to do a lot many things. It can help me to check whether all the fields are being populated properly or not, number one. Number two, it helps me to also check whether the approval was needed and the approval was granted or not. Number three, it also check whether is there any broken links or something or not. So I can go and quickly click on validate, and it says that my Independence Day campaign, the campaign cannot be executed because it has not been approved. So it means that my campaign was supposed to have an approval in place, and unless and until I have that, I cannot move on. So I can say, okay, fair enough. I can save this and I can send it for an approval. So if I want to send it for an approval purpose, there is a tab here, which is for approval process. I can click on this, and then I can identify who are my approval. So I logged in with one credential. The credentials are of Eric, right? So Eric is one of the campaign designer in the company, and there is a approver for the campaigns called as a demo user. So demo user can go ahead and approve the campaign, and then I can move on. So first I need to request my demo user that please approve my campaign. So I can go and click on request for an approval, and I can say, please approve, or you can say, please review and approve. So the moment I'll send a request, my campaign will be changing the state, and now it is like send for an approval, right? And if I feel that there is some correction that I need to do, I can withdraw that request, and I can also send a notification. So this notification is basically like I'm also shooting an email saying that, hey, I sent you a campaign for an approval. Can you please do that? Right? So those kind of options are also there. Now I build a campaign. Let's try to approve this. So I log out. And now I wish to log in again with the approver ID. So SaaS demo is one of the approver. I can look into this. I can check my campaigns. And as an approver, I don't have typically an option to make changes here. I'm supposed to go and review that. I can go and check each one of them. I can see what I have. And typically as an approver, I'm not supposed to make the changes, or I'm not allowed to make the changes here. But here, because it was more of a training environment, you can make the changes also, and then you can probably approve it. So if you want to approve, you have an approve button. If you want to deny, you have a deny button. Otherwise, if you say like something is wrong, you please make the change. So I can say withdraw the request, whatever. So right now I'm interested in approving this. And once it is being approved, I can log off from here, log in again as Eric. And I'm good to go ahead and check whether the campaign is approved or not. Right? So it shows me the campaign has been approved. Making changes to an approved campaign, though it is allowed, however, not recommended, because you have taken the approval and you're not supposed to make the changes, ideally. So you can go through this, check the approval status, and you'll get to know that approval was granted by demo user. And if there are any comments, you can even get to know that. Now, if I go ahead and validate this one more time, it will say like it is absolutely valid, right? However, one small mistake that I did was I did not define the export list here. So under this, I defined the communication channel. I did not define the export list, because if I want to go ahead and check my campaign effectiveness, I need to know whether people have really received that or not. So I can go and check this, add my export list is going to be export to an Excel, let's say. Export to an Excel. And I can specify the location and the file name. My Independence Day campaign, right? If you also want to see how many people did not receive that, you can say include the holdout control group member as well. And for each and every target audience, I'll be receiving one row. I can choose what all fields I want. By default, as we discussed, like we are only going to get the subject ID. However, if you want, you can add some more details about the campaign. For example, I can get to know what was the campaign name, what was the start date, what was the end date, and I can get to know what was the channel that was used, right? What was the channel that was used. I can get to know about the customer details, like for this customer ID, what is the name. I can get to know what is the email, phone number, just for my understanding. And then I can say, okay. I have again not assigned the treatments here. So that is something that I missed out. So I have an option to go and assign the treatments also. So I can go to cells. So I can see these are the people who are going to be targeted. Of course, I could do a split and then I can see a multiple cells here. That is something which is possible, right? So this is where I can get to know if I'm assigning any kind of treatment to them. So right now I'm not assigning it, just to tell you like how exactly we can do it later on. And then once it is done, I can go and schedule this. So if I wish to schedule it, I can set a schedule. If I want to execute it right now, I can go and execute. Click on the execution part. You can either set a schedule from here or you can do the execution part here. So this is like ad hoc execution, instant execution that I have, and the campaign would be executed. If there are multiple cells and if you wish to communicate using multiple channels, but now you want only one channel to be used there, I can even do that. So I don't have multiple, so I can keep it simple. And my campaign is going to get executed. And the execution here means I want to prepare the target list of audiences who are going to receive my offer. And then I can see an export list. So this export list has to be shared with the team who's going to prepare a postal mail, and then they'll be sending a postal mail to the audiences, right? So I can see that. Now, once I execute the campaign, my export list must be ready. So I can go back to my diagram. I can look at where my export file was generated and I can validate this. So the file was generated in D drive CI common data export. And within that, my Independence Day campaign XLS file was there. So I can go and quickly check this. So I can go to a folder, go to D drive, go to CI, go to common, go to missed out CI common data, CI export, and I can see my Excel file would have been generated here. So you can see this. And this is where I'll have all the detailed data, which if you want, you can use it for further analysis as well, if needed. So I can get to know more and more about it. You can even integrate your add-ins for MS Office if you have that, and then you can get to know. Since I did not provided the start date and end date, they are appearing blank. The channel that I wanted to use was postal mail that I have. These are the name of people who are going to be contacted, right? So I can even get to know. I can select this data. I can divide it. I can visualize it based on the region, area, whatever I want. Because once such list is created, you can use that list for any further analysis. So that is something which is absolutely possible, right? Coming back to the diagram that we have, this is where we have a treatments, and you can see like this is where you have selected two treatments that you want to offer to your customers, right? So if you have two treatments and if you want to give both to them, you can just go ahead and assign that. So to whom I want to assign, I need to assign to the target audience. You can build all the logic, whatever you wish to. And then finally, you can see multiple cells will appear there. And then you can assign that. For example, let's try to make some change in an approved campaign. So you can get to know, can I have an approved campaign? Again, go through some modification. The answer is yes. So I can quickly probably delete this node. I don't need this right now. I have some 2,167 customers. I want to split them. So I can even choose a split here. And as I said, you have an option to either split or you can have an option to do a A/B test, that is champion, challenger model can also be applied here. So let me keep it very, very simple right now. Sorry. I wanted to have a split. So let's say the split that I wanted was, my net connection seems to be slow today. I think because of that power related issues. And I wish to split it on a very simple percentage criteria, right? So I don't want to have a distinction like I want to split based on the age group or something like that. You can do it, but here I want to be completely transparent, like without any biasing. I want to split it. So I can say, let the splitting to happen based on the first group and probably some more groups if I want. If I don't want something, I can delete that. So I'm saying first group, and the requested percentage is around 50%. Update, and it will show me that the first group is going to have 50%. And if you also want the other 50% to be considered, then you can have the option to add one more entries. Otherwise, anyway, you are going to get it. So let's say I'm doing a split of 50% right now. Check this. So you can see like I just did the splitting of 50%. I also want to do the other remaining 50%. Right? So this is where I'm doing a split. So this group will have the priority, and then I can also have the remaining ones. So that I can get to know the first 50% is going to have 1084, another 50% will have the 1083 people. And then once I see that there are two cells which are being created, this is one and this is the another one, right? Then I want to send a communication to them, and my communication channel was supposed to be postal mail, so I can add a communication again. That's bad. And I can add this. So both are going to get the postal mail as it is. There'll be no change in that, but their treatments would be different. So I'm going to select the direct mail as it is. My export details will also be same. So I'm going to give almost the same name. And then I can have the holdout groups or whatever I want, completely up to you. From each group, 5% will be holded. And then I can easily check this, the assignment. The assignments can be offered to various cells now. So you can see a small warning icon that you did not assign anything. So here I want to give them an offer, which is one of those two. So the two offers that was selected was $100 deposit when you open up a saving account, and the remaining 50% would get the second treatment, which is like I'll be giving you 0% APR credit card. So I don't know what makes my customer happy right now. So I'm giving two different things and then I can assign that. So you have a flexibility. You can make modifications into your campaign. You can make the campaign go for approval and then you can get it approved and so on and so forth. You also have an option to create a document by clicking on this three dot button here. And the three dot button will help me to look at the documentation part. If I say I want to create a documentation around it, I can go and have, please add everything and also attach the document with the campaign if needed. And then I can say create a document. Now it says you have not selected any cell node. Do you want to select the cell node also? Yes, we do want to, so that I can get to see the count as well. And then I can create the document and it becomes a lot easier for me to understand what is happening in my campaign. So depending upon the complex nature of your campaign, your document could be anywhere between 10 plus pages to some 30, 35 odd pages. But if it is very, very simple, then you will realize like it is still consuming roughly around 23 pages. So whatever name that I have given, that will appear, when it was created, who has created, all those details will appear one below the other. This is all customizable. Don't have to worry about. You can have a quick index here. The internet speed is not that smooth on the server, I think. So I can see the index page where I can see or where I can find what details. I can scroll down and I can see the details about each and every node that we have. So all the details that we have provided, customized, everything is there. You can see the diagrammatic view of your campaign also. And you can get to see the node details. So by looking at the document itself, you can get to know who are the target audience you are targeting, what selection criteria you have given, how many people are expected in each cell. All those things can be made available here, right? The selection criteria, counts, and for almost every node that you see here, when it was executed last, and likewise the log, because that's something which is very, very important. I really need to know whether my code was executing as per the requirement or not. So I can have some expert looking into this code, verify whether whatever the marketing team has done is correct or not. If yes, I'm good to go ahead and execute my code. Right? So I can get some beautiful documentation that I can go through and I can get to know more and more about it. Is that looking good, everyone? If yes, you can give me some response. And if there are questions, queries, doubts, feel free to type it in the Q&A panel or in the, I think this is webinar, so this is only Q&A panel. But your responses will be highly appreciated if you can. Any kind of response, please. All good, okay, not that great, wonderful. Okay, so we have one more topic, and that's something about, just a minute, please. That's something about the inbound campaigning. That's something about the inbound campaigning. So the way I can design an outbound campaign where the target audience could be big in numbers, I can create some very customized campaigning for my audiences as well. When the inbound campaign will work, the inbound campaign will work when my subject will try to reach out to me and establish some sort of interaction with me. So probably I'm not happy with my credit card dues or charges, whatever it might be. And then I pick up a phone and I say like, hey, can you help me understand why these charges are billed to me? Okay, so the call center can probably look into my concern, they can address my concern, and then probably they say, hey, Mahesh, you are one of the wonderful customers. So here I have an offer for you. Will you be interested in that? So that is the time I get very small window of opportunity where I can talk to the customer directly. And since I have already solved the problem which is faced by my customer, the customer is in a good mood. So I can take that liberty to offer something, and there are highly likelihood that the customer will say like, hey, I'm interested. Okay, so probably I'll be able to do some upsell, cross sell quite easily. It could be some other way option also, like I'm visiting the website and the website says, hey, welcome Mahesh, and then you are eligible for offer 1, 2, 3, likewise. So those kind of options are also possible. I might be doing some transaction on the ATM machine, and the moment I'm asking for a money withdrawal, and when I'm waiting for the money, and during that time, I can probably talk about like, here is your money. In the meantime, would you be interested in any of the offers? So that could also be one of the window of opportunity that I can have, where I can communicate to my user like what I have for you. So the way inbound campaigns are designed is quite different from the way outbound campaigns are designed. So in outbound campaign, I have the products, offers, services that I wish to talk about to a lot of customers, but I don't know who are those customers. So I have an offer with me. I want to give it to someone. Okay. So the target is not clear to me. But here, the target is crystal clear to me because the target is reaching out to me. So I know at a time, only one person will reach out to me. So I know who is my target. And accordingly, I can quickly identify what all offers that are valid for the person, and I can talk about them. For example, if Jessica is visiting a website, probably she will get an offer about the credit card, because based on the data, I realize like Jessica is my saving account customer. However, she is not using the credit card. So I'm going to give it to her. Whereas Austin might be having a saving account, might be having a credit card also, but he probably may not have taken the loan, maybe a home loan or a car loan or something like that. If I don't see the car loan, home loan EMI going through his account, then I can offer home loan. If I see that he has already taken the home loan, then probably I can offer him a car loan. So there are a lot of ifs and buts that goes on once the customer connects to us. And then based on that, I can easily arbitrate what offers that I should be offering to the customer, and I can provide the best possible offer to the customer. So as a particular customer could be eligible for a series of offers, and because of that, what happens is I really want to do some decision making first, and that decision making will help me to understand. Just a minute, please. That can help me to understand what kind of products or services the customer might be interested in, right? So that is something which is absolutely possible. So when a customer logs in, he will go through the various decision-making process, and then I can understand like what would be the best offer to them. So something that I need to arbitrate, something that I need to choose, what could be the best offer for the customer. So how exactly the inbound campaigning can be taken care of? Because the inbound campaigning gives me a very small window of opportunity where I can talk about the best possible offer for my customers. So it has to happen in real time. The name of the product that is being offered here is called as Real-Time Decision Manager, where the customer tries to connect to me, and then in the real-time mode, I can quickly make some decisions, and I can understand like what could be the best for the customer, and I can offer to them. Now the customer can reach out to me over the web application, over the mobile app, over the email, whatever it is. So whatever is the channel through which I'm interacting with you, I need to remember that I need to communicate my offers through the same channel. Here I cannot change the channel. So the whole process happens in the real-time mode. A customer try to reach out to me using some channel of the convenience to them. I look at what are the problems, concern that the customer is facing, and accordingly, I can run some decision model, and then I can understand what could be the best possible offering for that particular customer. Now, this decision making can happen based on the historical data, based on the details that we have, and accordingly we can run on this. So in order to query the details, I can have the enterprise database, I can have the enterprise applications there, I can have some third-party data services also, which I can query and I can get to know more and more about the customers. And accordingly, I can identify what is the best possible offer for the customer and talk about it. So the overall time that I have in my hand is typically few seconds. Okay, because the moment my job is done as a customer, I would love to log out from the website or application or whatever it is, right? So the overall amount of time that I have is hardly few seconds. And within those few seconds, I need to make all those decisioning. So it has to be very, very fast. So when we talk about the decision-making process, you cannot wait for too long. You have to do this decisioning very, very fast, very, very quick. And how quickly you can identify the right offers will decide whether the customer will avail your offer or the customer will not avail your offer. So those can be decided in a very short time period. So in order to make the decisions more quicker and faster, we have some more nodes. For example, the whole interaction start with the start node, and then I have a sell node which talks about a particular customer is trying to reach out to me. I can do branching, I can do filtration, I can retrieve some data, I can do some model execution there, I can do some code execution there, and I can understand what is the best suited for my customer, and then I can talk about that offers. So when I'm trying to build the campaign, I can easily get to know whether my campaign is complete, not complete, and then accordingly I can complete that, and then I can execute it. So unlike the outbound campaign, the inbound campaign start with the start node. That is the triggering point, like how the customer is trying to reach out to me. Is it over the call center? Is it over the mobile application or whatever it is? So that is where I need to have a start. I need to have an event that tells me that this is a starting point, and then I'm going to go ahead, continue with the decision making. The last part is supposed to be the communication or the reply here, because the customer has started the interaction. So I need to send them some reply. So that is what will be happening here. And this reply is based on the conclusion that you will have. In between, you will have a sell node. The sell node will tell me like who is my customer or the subject who is trying to reach out to me. And accordingly, I can identify the suitable offers for them. And then I can work upon what I need to offer to my customer. The cell node that immediately proceed the reply node is also known as a marketing cell, because that is where I'm concluding like what is the offer that I want to make it. And then accordingly, I can communicate that. So unlike the outbound campaign where there are thousands of customers, here I have only one customer at a time, right? So typically in every inbound campaign, you will have three main nodes: the start node that will define the event the customer is trying to reach out to me, sell node, the customer who is reaching out to me. So there is one customer that I have, and a reply node which says that what kind of communication that I want to give to my customer. So this is how typically a inbound campaign will look like. So you'll have a start node where they'll trigger the event, the decisioning will take place in between, and finally the offers are identified and then they are communicated. So in between, you may have some add-on nodes, like you may have a branch node, like let's say there is a Women's Day celebration and I want to give some offer to ladies. And suddenly what happens is one of the male customer tries to connect to me, and I realize like this offer is not meant for him. So probably he might have got to know like there is a Women's Day offer that is going on, and he wants to know, can I avail the offer on behalf of his wife? So probably wife may not be the identified target audience for that particular offer. So I may want to say no to them. Okay, so I can do some filtration or I can do some branching. So filtration means if you are meeting the filtration criteria, you will go ahead. If you're not, you will be stopped then and there. Whereas branch means if uh, you want to create two parts or maybe more parts, like male, female kind of separate, then you can use a branch node there, and then you can go ahead and work with. So building an inbound campaign is quite similar to building an outbound campaign. The only difference is the nodes are different and the logic is also a little bit different, but the approach remains the same. You need to start with a campaign definition. You need to give the name, you need to provide the additional details, and then you can go ahead and build the diagram. If the campaign needs an approval, then you probably have to get it approved. And finally, you need to deploy that campaign. So let's see how we can do this. So to start with, we need to start with the name, basic properties of the campaign, and then you can go ahead and design the diagrammatic view. So the diagrams are supposed to be built on the diagram page, and then you can make use of various nodes in which you probably might be interested in. The start node should be the first node, and it basically talks about the triggering event, like from where the customer is trying to interact with me. And based on that event, I'll identify the channel. And based on the same channel, I need to send a communication also. So whether it is a mobile app, whether it is a call center, or whether it is a ATM machine, my reply has to go on the same channel. So when the event start with some basic variables, and we call them as request variable. For example, I may have an ID of the customer. I may have probably the name or whatever it is. And then I can use that as a selection criteria. And then I can identify what are the series of campaigns that I have. And accordingly, I can then talk about one of them. So whenever the customer will try to reach out to me, I'll get to know the details like the request variables. Based on that, the decision will take place, and then I can move on further. Based on whatever is asked for, I can send the reply also. The reply node is basically telling like the customer needs to be informed about the offer that we have, beside giving the solution to their problems. So the reply variable will help me to pass on that added communication. So what logic we have here? Some basic requirement, like the first bank, one of the hypothetical bank that we are looking at, wants to design an inbound campaign to populate a web page with an appropriate treatment once the customer logs in. Okay, the events needs to be defined that when the customer will log in, the customer will log in with the customer ID and probably the name, or the customer ID with the phone number, whatever it is. So if I look at the page, this page can be customized. So if the person is a normal customer, probably I want to give the loan at the rate of 9.9%, which is approximately 10%. But if the customer is a good customer, probably I want to offer the same thing at 9.5. So I can give them an advantage of 5 basis point because the customers are good. So that customization can be done quite easily. Now, when I'm talking about the replies, I need to know what kind of message, what kind of offer that I want to give it to my customers. and accordingly, I can design my reply variables. When I'm talking about the replies, there are different types of replies that we can have. Probably one of them is a standard reply. A standard reply means the person does not meet the criteria for a particular offer to be communicated. So since there are 0 offers identified for the person, I want to tell them like, thank you for visiting, and I probably want to disconnect, right? But if the customer is eligible for certain offers, then I may want to do some arbitration in between, and then I can take a call like what offers that I should give to my customers. There could be another type of reply also, which is called as an error reply. The error reply means that something went wrong. I could not reach out to some conclusion. And that's where I probably just want to give them some error reply like, we are facing some technical challenges right now. And can you please revert back for more offers and details after some time, kind of can be provided. So when we are dealing with the inbound campaign, the whole inbound campaign process revolves around the customer. So if the customer is a good customer, then probably I may have series of offers for them. But if the customer does not have a very strong relationship, then probably I may just want to offer few of them, because the customer might be new, or maybe the credit history that I have about the customer is not very satisfying for me. So I don't want to give them too many offers. So that could be one of the deciding factors for you. When the customer reach out to me, there are high chances that the customer is new and he wants to know more about the products and offerings that we have, number one, or the customer is facing some problems and I need to solve that problem. Okay, I need to help him to solve that problem. Now, the requirement is the same customer could come back to me again and again, right? So if the same customer come back to me again and again, I don't want to talk about the same offer every now and then. Imagine the customer is saying that there are some wrong transaction that happened to his bank account, and we are telling him, sir, okay, we will look into it. Can you give me a day's time or so? I'll look into it and I'll get back to you. How about you taking a credit card? A customer will not be very happy about it because the customer is already dissatisfied with your services and you're offering one more product. Customer may not be happy about it. Or let's say customer may say like, hey, you let me know the offer. I'll think over it and I'll let you know tomorrow once you solve my problem. Second time the customer is again connecting. I'm not in a position to solve his problem and I'm again telling him, can I offer you a credit card? Customer will get pissed off. So what I really need is I need to define some contact rules, like how many times I should talk about the same offer to the customer. And then accordingly, I can talk about different offers to the customer when the person connects. So when I'm trying to define the contact rules, the basic idea is I can decide based on the type of contact. Like for a customer, I don't want to give them more than one product or more than one offer for the whole week. So it could be something like that. It could be based on the number of offers that I want to give it. So that can also be decided based on the responses. Whether the customer has responded positively for the previous offer, then I probably want to give some more offers, interesting offers to them. Likewise. So it could be based on any one of them. If the customer has denied some of the responses, then probably I don't want to offer anything because I want to give them some time to think over it. And very common practice is if you say no to the credit card company, most of the credit card company, once they receive no, they don't call you for the next 3 months. Most. Okay. Because, and if the company is a good company, then. So that can be decided. Now, you can set up a rule and I can say like how many times I want to give the same offer or how many offers that I want to give to the people based on what duration, based on what offers, and accordingly I can have it. You can apply the contract rules to channels. So I don't want to give the same offer through the same channel also. That can also be configured quite easily. So you can keep on changing the various channels. I can check on the eligibility part. Like you might be a member of multiple offers, but should I really give them all those offers or not? Because when we are talking about identifying the target audience, I probably have some broad criteria to identify. But when I do some further fine tuning of the criteria, I may realize like earlier you might be eligible, but now you may not be eligible for this. For example, you are already using a credit card, which was one of the card offered. So there's no point in me offering you the same credit card again. Though it happens sometimes, people don't pay attention on these minor details. So many a times I get a phone call from my credit card bank saying that, hey, Mahesh, we have some credit card for you. And the name of the credit card is XYZ. Would you be interested in that? And then I tell them like, I'm already using that credit card. And then they say, sorry. And then they disconnect. But when you are doing the whole thing, it gives me two messages. Number one, you don't keep the track of what your customers are doing, what kind of product services that they are using. So you are not concerned about what the customer is using right now. You're not very careful about it. Second, you're not caring about your expenses also because you are making a phone call to a customer for a product which the customer is already using. So that is a wastage of your money. So doesn't make a great sense to me, right? So if it is not making a great sense to me, it is not definitely making a great sense to the company also because you are wasting their money. So there is something called as checking the eligibility of the customer. You can check that, and then you can say whether the customer is eligible for offer A, B, C, or whether he's only eligible for offer A or C. And accordingly, you can choose what offer you wish to give it. The eligibility result will tell me what all things can be offered to the customer, and accordingly, I can arbitrate, and then I can say, here is your offer. So that option is completely up to you to take a call whether you want to use it or not. The arbitration is a process where I have multiple offers identified for the customer, but I don't want to give them a series of offers over the phone calls or over the mobile app. I want to give them only one offer at a time. So I need to arbitrate. And once you arbitrate, then you can easily offer the product. How do I arbitrate it? I can arbitrate on the basis of offer value. So I can say like, if I'm giving the 0 APR credit card, it will cost me, let's say 200. So if I'm giving some, let's say cashback of maybe 10%, that will make an expense of around 500. So I can choose how I want to give an offer to the customer. So based on either a high priced value or low priced value, I can choose to sort, and then accordingly I can take a call whether to give the offer A or whether to give the offer B to the customer. I can even write a code and I can arbitrate for the process. So that kind of option is also there for me. If the customer do not meet any of the criteria, then they exit the decision flow. And if somebody doesn't fit into any of the criteria, then ideally they should get the standard reply. Thank you for visiting, kind of. Continue to enjoy the banking with First Bank. Likewise. You can define the standard reply on the standard reply page. You can also have some customized reply using the reply notes. Every time a person is reaching out to me, I'll get to know that somebody has reached out to me, so I can update the contact history. And this can help me a lot in various ways. If the customer is reaching out to me very often, then that tells me like customer probably may not be happy with my product or services. It could be other way around also based on the feedback that the customer is giving. So let's say I'm getting 500 off. So I feel very excited about it. And I pick up a phone call and I call my bank saying that, hey, wow, you have given me 500. And luckily, that was a day when I was having my anniversary. So I could enjoy additional dessert, or I can probably purchase a flower bouquet for my spouse, and that made my anniversary more better, kind of, right? So I may just want to appreciate that you have offered me something and I really enjoyed that. I can probably send back a response, which also means that the customer is very much excited, interested about my product and services, and he's looking forward for my offers, right? So if I want to store all the information about people who have been contacted, I can record that. I can capture their responses. I can capture whatever the treatment was offered to them. And that will help me to identify what makes a sensible offer for that particular customer. And I can probably build a campaign around that in future as well, right? So let's see if I need to build an inbound campaign, how will I do it? And then we will take up all your questions, queries, and doubts, whatever you may have. So the product that we are looking at is exactly same, the SaaS Customer Intelligence Studio. And last time we built an outbound campaign where more than 2,000 customers were getting targeted. Now I want to build an inbound campaign where I'm focusing only on one customer at a time. So this is where we have the option to build the real-time campaigns. So if you are building the decision campaigns, you can select the first option. If you are also interested in giving the treatments, offers, this is another option. So decision campaigns does not have a treatment in it. So this is more for decision-making process. Here you are offering the treatments. And if you have a multi-department campaign, like a credit card wants to give a free credit card, saving bank wants to give some extra interest on the fixed deposit, loan department wants to offer some discounted loan interest rate, then you probably want to run them through a set and then let the arbitrate process or arbitration process decide what is the best offer to them and then present it accordingly. So all options are supported. We will start with a decision treatment campaign. I'll again try to build a very small campaign so that you will at least get an idea how easy it is. And then in case if you are very much interested, then you can probably opt for some more detailed communication as well. So I just want to start with a new one. So I want to start with a new inbound campaign. The name I want to give it as inbound Independence Day campaign. Again, most of the details are quite similar, so should not be a problem for you. There's a campaign code, there is a start date, end date, how long this campaign would work, budget, like what is a maximum number, minimum number of offers that you want to give it. Again, you can say like, because I have a channel like mobile app or I have a channel like website also. So you can say like, so when I log in into my bank website, I get approximately 9 offers being shown to me, right? Which means that I can provide as many offers as I want on certain channels. So I can say like, hey, I don't want to give so many. I want to just give maybe 1, 2, 3, not more than that. whatever is your budget criteria that you can specify, and then you can have possible treatments that you want to give it towards the end. I can again opt for the same treatment. So you can understand, like I can use this, I can be consistent across my campaigning process. So let's say one of the person who has been identified as a potential beneficiary for the outbound campaign, if that customer calls me up and say, hey, I received a message from your bank saying that I'm eligible for $100 deposit when I'll open up a bank account. Is that true or is that a fraud? Because a lot many frauds are happening. So I need to have an idea that we have reached out to the customer and we have offered something like this. So I can probably focus only on these two. And then I can start building the campaigns. So the diagrammatic view will be more or less similar. You can see the nodes on the left-hand side. You can see the blank empty canvas to build the campaign flow. And then I have nodes, which I can probably make use of. So I'll start with the start node. Once I'll start with the start node, I can choose the event. So I can choose the event that I need to probably have. That is basically, click on the plus sign. I can define the variables here and I can specify like what all variables I'm going to get it. For example, I might be getting the IDs here. So that is what I can create one by one. And I can specify all the details. I have some additional option here. I can import the variables as well, right? I can import the variables as well. That can help me to get those names automatically. So let me try and import this. And whatever variables that I wish to, you can take it from here. So that's something which is absolutely possible. So you can choose whatever columns that you want to work upon. I'll click on OK. Now, right now, this is something which is a plain, simple, surprisingly, why it is not showing me the option to add an event. Let me try something else. So this is correct. So I should have selected this option rather than something else. My bad. So I have a start node here. And in the start node, I can say like, okay, when the person is visiting the bank website or when the person is visiting an ATM or whatever it is, so I can define the events and I can pick up probably one of the event like ATM event. So the person is visiting the ATM and at the ATM machine, the person will be spending somewhere around 2 to 3 minutes of time. So I can say like my timeout could be somewhere around 180 seconds, where I'll just get to know the customer ID. Based on that customer ID, with the moment you will be inserting the ATM card, I'll get to know the other details. Right? So I can see the start node is being specified. The timeout is 180 seconds. And do you want to provide some error values? Yes, no, kind of. So as of now, I'm not. I'll uncheck that and I'll say okay. And that half filled circle disappears because I did not provided the error value there. Now, once it is selected, I really want to know whether the person is a male or a female. Let's say my offer was for female, so I don't want to continue identifying the best product for the male member. I can do a branching here. I can connect. The interface is quite simple, quite intuitive. That is, you can look at it and then you can get to know what to do, what is not to do. So I can say branch based on the percentage or probably the data values, because I don't want to give that offer to the male member, let's say. So I'm going to based on data item. I can add a data item and I can choose one of the campaign specific parameter. For example, interestingly, they don't have a gender column here. They should have got one extra option for the variables. Okay, no worries. Let's try for the global variables, but I don't want to have anything on the global variables as well. Very bad. Let's try for percentage. Let's keep it simple. Okay. So what I really want is, because it is targeted for a single customer, it will keep on counting like how many customers have reached out to me, and accordingly I can decide. So I can say the first 10% is going to have one path, and the other will have the remaining 90%. Right. So if I see like when a particular person is reaching out to me, I can say like the first 10% should receive the offer based on the A track, 90% should receive offer based on the B track. Let me try some other event also. And it says that every campaign can have only one treatment. What does it mean? You cannot trigger a RTDM campaign or a inbound campaign based on the multiple events. That's a very basic rule. Let me see, do I have any other meaningful event? Let me select the SaaS for Finance Best Financial Product Campaign or event, right? So I can look at, I'll be getting the customer ID and the product, and I can go and say apply on this. And then my branching could change. Then my branching could change. So you can see like on what product that you are interested in. So I can say, select this product code. I can choose one of the product here. So I can choose the value. So if I know the product category code, I can apply that and I can check this quite easily. So you can do based on the data item, you can do based on the percentage, whatever you feel like. For example, I want to choose the product category code and the value will be based on whatever it is, the branching will take place, right? So it all depends like how you are building the flow. Let me show you one of the ready-made ones so that it should not be very, very time consuming for us. Let me show you an inbound campaign. So let me show you the best credit card campaign. So if you look at this diagrammatic view, it looks quite similar to your outbound campaign also, but there is a small difference. You have a start event, you have a start node where you have an event where the event name is best credit card, where the person will be providing the customer ID and the product categories. Based on the category, I have understood that the person might be interested in either MasterCard, Visa credit card, or any one of them would be okay based on whatever is eligible for. And then I can say like, okay, if you are interested in MasterCard, I'm going to give you the MasterCard. If you are interested in Visa credit card, I'm going to give you a Visa credit card. And if you are neither interested in Master or a Visa, if I have something like Amex, I probably want to offer that or whatever it is. So how do I provide the offers here? So I can go to treatments. I can see like I'm giving you one of the credit card for debt consolidation, another one as no annual fee credit card. These are the two that I have selected. And then I can provide a replies on the top of this. So if I see the communication says, since you are interested in the credit card, you tell me what kind of credit card that you want, whether you want Master or whether you want the Visa credit card. And accordingly, I can give you the product offer details. So I can have what is the offer name. I can have the detail link for the product details. So I can have probably the credit card URL there, and then I can work with. And if I need to record all of this because the person is contacted for this particular rule, I can go and say, please update the contact history also. Track presented treatment will help me to understand what all things we have offer to the customer, and accordingly, I can keep a track, right? And responses, if you are expecting, well and good. Otherwise, we are good without that also. So when I'm building a campaign like this, it has to be linked to your website or to your application, and then that will trigger that event using some kind of web service APIs. So that web service APIs will connect to this. And as and when the particular customer will say, hey, I'm interested in the credit card, maybe the master credit card, I can probably get to know that this is where I'll be getting some sort of replies. So if I give you one small idea, let me quickly minimize this and let me show you what happens on my bank page. So if I go to my bank, let's say, right? So I get to see a generic page, right? I get to see a generic page where it tells me about the interest rate. If I on fixed deposit, it tells me like I can have home loans, or maybe we can have home loans. We can use UPI payment on the ICICI Bank Rupee credit card. I can have personal loan for vacation. I can have uh, you know a strong contribution to uh, the carbon neutrality, because most of their statements are coming over the paper, over the email, so they are not using paper for it. And there are some more guidelines about bank ombudsman, right? So a lot of things are there, but unless and until I log in, I'll not get to know what is personalized for me. So it is something which is generic, right? Now, if I go back to the first page, it says the fixed deposit, I can earn an interest of 7.25 to 7.8. Okay. How will I get to know whether I'll get this or whether I'll get this? The moment I log in, it will get to know what is my age. If my age falls into the criteria of senior citizen, he will be offering me this automatically. But if my age doesn't fall into senior citizen list, he will be offering me only this, right? So that kind of customizations are possible once I log in. So if I log in, then on my entry page, I'll get to see all those offers. Of course, I'll not be logging in right now because you'll get to see my whole dashboard right at the first page, but you will get to see that. So the idea here is when I'm working with such campaigns, it becomes a lot easier for me, and I can easily identify what kind of offers, what kind of treatments that I can give to my customers, and I can work with them. If I'm designing such campaigns, every time I'm executing a campaign, the contact history table gets updated. And if the contact history table gets updated, I can look at some reports also. The reports or the report facility is powered by the product called as SaaS Visual Analytics. And I can get to know, or I can generate the report based on the various campaigns. For example, something like this. So it is reading the data from your common data model, and it tries to generate a report for me, right? So as of now, how many channels that you have used, we don't know. So I'll pick up all of them. I want to know how many of them are in complete state, design state, or marked for deployment. And I can get to see the graph then and there. So it basically tells me when I'm looking at this campaign, there is just one campaign because this is for a particular date, which is for last 15 days. If I increase this interval, I can get to know how many campaigns were generated based on various channels. So there are 10 campaigns which was executed for postal mail. Around 6 campaign were using the email as a channel. Around 4 are using call center, and 4 are inbound campaign based. So I can get to see those details. And of course, the more and more sophisticated report that I'll be clicking, generating, I can see a better interaction with that. Like if I'm looking at those uh, direct mail kind of campaigns, then some of them, like 6 of them, we delivered using email as a communication, right? And oh, sorry, there is no interaction that was there here. So it is giving me the same data. There was no interaction. The only thing is when I'm clicking on this, the lower part is getting changed, but there are no interaction on this. If I go and open up some another report, let's say, uh, let me close this. Let me check this one. Probably we may have a better report, probably. Again, it looks quite similar. The only difference is it is based on the treatments. Right? So I can see the various campaigns which are being generated. Layout is exactly same, so I don't see a great interaction happening here, but you can create a pretty beautiful reports based on this as well. So a lot of options, a lot of capabilities are being made available by the tool, and you can take a call how you liked it. And then if you are interested, you can please feel free to reach out to the SaaS point of contact. And if you want to reach out to any one of us or me, I can share my contact details with you. So this detail that I'm getting it in the form of report can be used for further analysis also. I can build a model around it. I can build some decision tree model around it. I can build some beautiful report and dashboard around it. So it all depends like how much time efforts that you want to give it. And accordingly, you can go and make the best use of the tool or the product that we have. So with this, we comes to an end of almost our day. It is almost 12:15 now. So just wanted to have a quick round of question answer session. Feel free to shoot your questions in the Q&A panel so that we can keep looking at all those questions and answers, and then we can answer most of them, or we will try to answer, in fact, all of them. If you want to reach out to me, here is my contact details. And this is my India WhatsApp number. So you can even reach out to me over the WhatsApp for any doubts, queries, questions as well. Anything that you want to know? Okay. Anybody raise hand? No. Okay. So looks like No questions? Great, wonderful. So thank you everyone for joining in. And once again, sorry for the delay that was caused, and you have to wait for some time for me. And I really appreciate you did not close the meeting thinking that the trainer may not join in. So thank you very much for that. Thank you for your time and patience. And feel free to reach out to me in case if you have any doubts, queries, and the details are already shared. Right. So thank you everyone. Thanks for joining in. I'll be there for another 10 minutes. And if you need any help, please feel free to reach out. We will stop the recording now. Okay. So thank you. Enjoy your evening and enjoy your rest of the day. Thanks a lot. Okay, so I think there are no questions. So let's stop the recording and let's end this session. Thank you once again for joining in.